Welcome back to Taylor Designs. A few weeks ago, my parents went to a wedding and they've asked me to make a serving board for their friends as a wedding gift. So I've been to the wood shop with them and we've picked out this nice piece of ironbark. So what I want to do at this point is trim the ends so that they are parallel and so that the board is a little bit shorter, because at the moment it's quite long and heavy. So I think I'm going to make the board 900mm long, and I want the ends to be parallel just so the board feels more natural to hold. And I was thinking about how to do this, and I think a way I can do this is if I place a piece of wood on the board and draw a line down the rough center, then I can draw two perpendicular lines to those and then cut those lines, and we should have two parallel ends of the board.
As you can see here, I am attaching some double-sided tape to one face of the board. This allows me to stick it down to my router sled and begin to carve away at one face, then flattening the slab. Unfortunately, my router sled is too small, so you can see me here pretending I know how to use hand tools as I try and finish off the corners. After sanding down the surface to remove the marks from the router, I grab some small chisels and begin to clean up the rotted sections and clean up the knot as well to prepare it for the epoxy. As well as cleaning up those holes, I also bought a wire wheel to attach to my drill and clean up the bark.
So this is just a random side note to my process. I was working away and my battery died, and in the past little while I've had two batteries just die for no reason, and I only have three. I saw this thing the other day where you can jumpstart a battery. So if these lithium ion batteries get to complete zero, then the battery charger won't pick them up. But I've got one battery here with a bit of charge, and then this one here which doesn't charge at all. So when I put it on my charger, you can see here, it does not flash, and that's not good. So what you can do, which I think is just crazy and seems really unsafe, but you can jumpstart them. So if you go from the positive terminal to the positive terminal, like jumpstarting a car, and the negative terminal back to the positive terminal, it sparks and smokes, and not good. But it's giving the completely dead battery a bit of power. You only have to leave it for a little bit and then pull it out. We take the battery that didn't work and it charges. This one still charges, and I now have three batteries I could use again. So how good. Anyways, back to the board. I've cleaned up majority of the bark here and it's nice and smooth now, but I need to fix the twist on the other side, and my planer sled, which I used for the side I've done, was a bit too small, and so I couldn't get the corners. So I'm going to try and make a new set of rails out of some scrap wood lying around and see if I can square them up with my table saw. So this is side project number 2 of this project. Yeah. So I've got 2 pieces of wood flattened out, and I've just taken the rail off my other sled. So now I can put my piece of wood here, and we can go the full length of my table saw, which is awesome. I've added a piece of wood on the side here just to try and stop a little bit of sawdust flying away. Then I've added a piece here. This is the ball protector in case this crazy thing goes wrong. I should be protected. That's always good.
Again, you can see I'm applying some double-sided tape, this time to the side I've already surfaced. This will allow me to stick it down to my table saw and surface the other side and remove the twist that's in the wood and have our final thickness.
The next step is what I think is to fill this with epoxy. So I think I'm going to cover one side in silicone and stick something on top and then pour epoxy through the other side. And then there's a couple other holes on this thing which I'll pour some epoxy into as well. So let's get doing that now and hope that the epoxy doesn't leak.
I'm just using a little bit of packing tape here as a non-stick surface for the epoxy to make it easier to pull up this piece of wood after the pour. And yeah, don't mind me here just caulking with my hands because my tube broke. Yeah.
Alrighty, here we go. Oh, I'm so scared that's just gonna come out the other side. That was not good. Alrighty, that's done for now. Fingers crossed that it stays where it is. Alright, it's been 1 week since I poured this epoxy, and mixed views on this. You can see pretty clearly it's dropped in as a lot of divots, so I'm gonna have to do another pour on top of that and hope for the best. Yeah, but it has held up. Nothing leaked out the bottom, which is nice. My little patch worked, which is really good. And now I just get to sand it back, and then I'm gonna pour a little bit more epoxy and it should be good. Ooh. Oh, that's crazy. That's the tape doing its job. And this. Oh, that's strange. Oh my gosh, that's so weird.
Ooh. As you can see, there was a few low spots after the epoxy pour, and here I'm just using my Dremel to remove some of the bubbles as well, and to make those divots a little bit bigger so that we can pour enough epoxy to get a good bond. And then after another quick pour, which I didn't show here, a little sand, it's time to add a lick of oil, and then she's good to go.